Hello my dudes. I wanted to say before this video starts that this is indeed a re-uploaded video. The first time that I uploaded this last Friday, so a week ago from today, it was removed from YouTube 2 days later. And I don't want to go into too many details on why it was removed in fear that it might be removed again if I talk about why. So if you're curious why, I talked about it many a time on my Twitter and my Instagram, which are both at Meghan Hughes. Yeah, I just didn't want this to be deleted and then not re-edited and re-uploaded to meet the guidelines because I really like this video with my sister. It's a pizza talk where we give advice on a lot of, I think, really helpful things. So I just wanted it to still stay on the platform as just a regular old pizza talk, folks. So enjoy! Greetings, loved ones, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a pizza talk for the first time in a literal year with my sister Lindsey.
Hello guys, hi legends. How y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
We're very excited to be here today. We have a gorgeous, stunning pizza to be eating today, and we're going to be answering your questions that you sent in on Instagram. I've collected and compiled.
Not any from Twitter?
A lot of them. Honestly, the Twitter questions, I'm not even trying to be rude, but not really.
They weren't good?
Not really relevant. You know,
Okay.
or just stuff that I've already talked about before.
Got it.
That's a huge issue with pizza talks is like, I already have addressed a lot of these in past pizza talks, but people just haven't seen them. So I try not to like
Say the same
stuff, but we're gonna be talking about some of those same things today.
Is it too early to dig in?
Dig in. Follow your dreams.
I picked up this pizza, I drove to get it, and I am very excited to indulge. I already took my lactate.
Okay, the first question is from our brother, and I figured we started off on a silly note.
Love that.
He asks, do you guys wear wigs, or is that your real hair?
Colton never asks us questions for
Yeah.
Q&As. This is like shocking that he did. A lot of people don't even know that we have a brother.
Yeah, that's very
He's
true.
not really in like many videos.
Somebody asked if Colin feels left out because he doesn't have a YouTube, and I'm like, no.
He's never expressed much interest in like wanting to be on camera that much other than in the vlogs.
In the vlogs, yeah. But to answer your question, Colin, we do not wear wigs, okay?
Look, you can see the roots right here. I mean, I would not make a wig that looked like this, honey.
The first question we got is from Natalie, and she asked, I feel like I can never just make out with my boyfriend without him wanting sex. How do I redirect? Interesting question.
You should tell him like, babe, I just want to make out for a few minutes. Like, I think it would be really fun. Like, can we just make out? Is that so wrong? Express your desire. And you can be like, you know, then maybe after I'll be a little more in the mood for other things, but maybe I just want to make out.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. You just need to express your wants and needs and be like, you know, sometimes I'm just down for a little makeout.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I want. I don't want the sex. I love a good makeout session. Sometimes I tell Finley that often.
Yeah,
honestly,
I think you just got to be clear.
Sometimes I just
they
want a
can't
big
read your
smidge.
mind. Maybe he just assumes, oh, this is just how it starts. It's always how the foreplay starts. Some men really try to rush it. You know, they really do, and they need to be told.
Alexis asked how to deal with toxic family members you live with. So like if you're living with somebody who, you know, either your beliefs don't align with them. I also got a bunch of questions about like, you know, I'm really liberal and I live with a conservative family, or like, you know, you see some of their things that they believe in or they're passionate about as not aligning with your beliefs.
Yeah.
And I would say like, especially with family and stuff like that, I honestly did an entire podcast episode about family boundaries, all of that kind of stuff. So maybe that would be helpful for you to listen to, but it's definitely very hard to like distance yourself from family, especially that you live with. But when it comes to like disagreeing on things that you feel you're passionate about, I would say that you need to have people in your life who you do get to talk about those things with, and like you just need to recognize like maybe that family member is most definitely not going to be that person. So to not like, what is it, throw gas on the fire, not like make it worse.
You don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, you don't have to like address these issues all the time with them
family.
if you know that you're not going to change their minds. Like you guys just disagree. I want to clarify that when it comes to blatant racism in your family, or even microaggressions, not necessarily overt racism, but covert racism, you should definitely say something. You shouldn't just be like, oh, we don't need to have that conversation, because I feel like you should hold your family accountable for what they say and their actions and all of these things. So even if you know that you might not change their mind, you still need to make your beliefs heard and not just be like, well, they won't listen to me. Because yeah, sure, maybe they won't, but at least they know that what they're saying is very wrong. So at least let them know that you don't feel the same way as them, because it is very easy to just sit there and let people go on, and you're like, okay, in your head, you're like, this person's crazy, I don't agree, but you're not saying anything. And that is why they continue to feel like they can do that in social situations. So I just wanted to say that.
Or if they're a toxic person in general, you can figure out ways to get your savings up and then move out from living with that person. But that's my current advice. But we've never had to deal with this.
Living with a toxic family member definitely be very difficult, because you'd be seeing them pretty much every day, I'm sure. I guess I would just say, and you like said this in your podcast episode about it, but set some boundaries, you know, write them down. Maybe you just are not around that person unless you absolutely have to be. Yeah, just I would say, if you can create some boundaries around this person, maybe, you know, express those boundaries to them and try not to hang out with them other than when you absolutely have to, if it's really just a toxic person to be around. And hopefully you can work towards, like Meghan said, hopefully being able to move away from that situation at some point in the future.
The next question is from Bera Panthera, and they asked, just finished uni and having lack of passion for anything. Tips for finding zest for life.
Oh.
You finished something very big, you know? Like, you should feel accomplished as a human being. And I know that right now with like graduation being mostly online because of quarantine and stuff like that, I was talking about this with my friend Gina, who just graduated college. She was like, it just didn't really feel like I did anything, you know, because we didn't have this ceremony.
It's really sad.
Yeah, and like you just send in your last assignment and you're like, well, I guess it's over.
Graduated.
Guess I graduated. So I think that like that situation is kind of making people feel, well, what the hell do I do now? Even more than graduates who walk across the stage. You know, obviously I did not go to college, so I didn't really have this experience of like graduating them being like, what now? Kind of a vibe. But Lindsey did. So I'm gonna kind of hand this over to her. But I just wanted to let you know, like, you did something very exciting and big and you should feel proud of yourself.
For sure. And, you know, maybe it takes a little time. I mean, you know, how you're feeling could have to do with the fact that, you know, still a lot of places are not open, and we're still, you know, in our weird time period of like things are starting to open, but you can't do as much stuff. So, and I also don't know where you live. Uni, said uni, so overseas. I would say, you know, get excited about things that you can do, whether it's maybe you can take a little safe road trip and you don't have to go and see a bunch of people, but maybe you can even do a solo road trip, just get some nature in there, and that can feel like something fun. Like, celebrate yourself, you know?
A little zest for life.
Yeah, celebrate yourself. Maybe just maybe write down things that make you happy to do, or things that if you can't do them now, maybe you can do them soon, and just start planning that stuff. I know I get really excited even just planning something for even months and down the road.
Me too.
So what are those things? Is it travel? Is it, you know, meeting new friends, going out, trying new restaurants, trying a new maybe workout program or class? So what are those things that make you excited, and then do those as much as you can, or start some plans.
Yeah.
And you don't have to rush it, you know? Maybe you need just a break right now. Chillax for a little bit.
Take your freaking time, you know? Just kick your feet up.
Just kick your feet up, girl.
Lindsey and I are currently multiple pizza slices deep and got a text from Meghan asking if we worked out. The answer is no, not yet. Speaking of working out, got about 3 separate questions on how to find the motivation to work out, how to keep motivation to keep going once you have found it at least 1 to 2 times. I get questions a lot about this in my Twitch streams because I pretty much always stream before I go and work out right after it. And so I'll be like, oh guys, I have to go and work out. And they're like, oh my God, how are you keeping up with this stuff? You know? And then I get a lot of questions about it. So if you've seen my streams, I'm going to say the same thing that I always do, which is I always just think about how good I will feel when the workout is over.
You're proud of yourself.
Yeah, and that makes me want to do it. Like, I'll have an endorphin rush. I'll feel good that I accomplished that. I'll feel good that I stayed with my routine.
Yeah.
Which I'm definitely a creature of routine. I love that shit so much.
Yeah.
So So I would say just think about the end goal, I suppose, and just how good it feels when you're like, I did that, you know? And also we're doing a 2-week challenge right now with Miss Chloe Ting.
Yes.
And keeping up with that challenge has been a big thing for me, like just so that I can accomplish it. Of doing 2 full weeks of this very hard thing, you know?
Being like, I actually did it, didn't skip, you know? I've thought about this question for years. Because I've gone back and forth, up and down with working out regularly, all that kind of stuff, not regularly, taking random months off. And I think that's a very normal thing. For me, it's about 2 things, okay? The first is literally no one can motivate you to start except yourself. You can watch hundreds of videos. You can be like, oh my God, all these people look amazing. I really think I should be working out. I should be working out. I want to work out. No one's going to make you do it except yourself. Okay. So find whatever it is. If you really want to do it, you just have to do it in your own time when it's right for you. Find something that makes you feel excited to do, or at least like you don't hate doing it. Okay.
That's huge thing. Yeah. That's finding an activity that you're not going to be actively hating.
There's so much that you can do. So you don't have to limit yourself.
Might I suggest dance videos?
Right? Dancing.
Like just like a nice
yoga.
There's these videos from MadFit on here that I see in my recommended sometimes, and it's just a girl playing a nice song and she's just dancing on a mat like, come on guys, woo! And like you're getting your heart rate up. That could be just a fun little way to get into it. Do a little dance with her.
Whatever it is that feels right to you.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's totally okay. That's a big part of it. You have to be your motivator, okay? So you're not gonna start until it's time for you. The second thing is habit of it, okay? Once you get into a habit, whether it's working out every other day or maybe 5-6 times a week, or even if you're starting from literally no working out, maybe like 2 times a week. That's great, okay? And there's no rules here. It's just whatever feels right to you. So start a routine. Write it down in your planner. Write it down. Be like, I'm going to work out. If you just forget about it, you're like, you know, maybe next week. Maybe the end of the week I'll do it. You're not going to do it. You have to have it planned out. Maybe have an accountability partner like me and Megan on FaceTime. That helped me so much. I definitely was not regularly working out in the quarantine until I got my accountability partner.
Yeah.
And it really helped.
Would highly recommend.
I think that
because
helps
if
so
you
much.
Schedule a workout with somebody, like, hey, we're going to work out at 8 p.m. your time. If you don't show up, the only people that you're disappointing are not only yourself, but your friend and or sister accountability partner. So, yeah, I would say that that's a great tip as well, is to have somebody holding you accountable.
And once you get like 2 days done, you're just gonna keep going. You're gonna get into the habit and you're gonna keep sticking with it. So that is my last thing I'll say. We've been talking about this one for a while.
Yeah. Then I got at least 3 questions on breakups. How to get through a breakup. I've just had a breakup and I'm now feeling a bit lost. Any advice? Learning to love yourself after leaving a toxic relationship and refinding your boundaries.
I could talk about this for hours. I have talked about this on my podcast in my most recent episode and also my first episode ever. I talked a little bit about like my top tips for like recently breaking up. Biggest thing, you just have to let the time pass. The time will heal. Everyone says that, but it's gonna be just so fresh at the beginning. And you know, something important to remember too is your body has to actually adjust to like not being around that person as much anymore or at all. And you have to actually start like, I'm gonna sound dumb, but there's actually like things in your brain that are not functioning the same way. Yeah. Like once you separate yourself from someone that you were in love with, seeing every day, like you have to rewire some parts, okay? And it takes time. Right after, I would say be really nice to yourself, be really kind to yourself. Obviously, if you might still be talking to this person for a month or 2 or 3 or whatever after, I don't know, you know, you might not just completely cut off contact. It depends on, you know, the type of breakup and the type of person. Yeah. I know I did not have like full cut off contact after. We're still, you know, a little bit of contact for a while. So just being kind to yourself. It's okay. You're adjusting, okay? It's gonna be normal to like miss this person and maybe want to call them at night a few weeks into the breakup or whatever and just like catch up and talk to them. I really do think that that's okay to have stuff like that. And
you don't need to feel bad about it.
Do not feel guilty. Just be nice to yourself. But also like try to have that mindset of like, you know what, I was with this person, but before that it was just me, and I can get back to that. It might seem impossible right now, but try to just do those things for yourself, make you feel good. You do not have to rush to move on. Just take some good time for yourself. And it's a period that's going to take a while, especially if it was a long relationship. But just know, like, you've probably been through worse or been through something like this before. You are going to be okay. You're going to make it out. Your future self is going to look back and be like, oh my gosh.
Thank God.
Thank God, yeah. So, like I said, I could go on, but we'll kind of leave it at that.
The next question is from Cosmic Baklava. And they asked, how to build a relationship with your sister after being disconnected for years. It's been years.
That would be so horrible.
I know.
Well, just for us, it would be very sad.
Yeah. But sometimes I think about like how grateful I am that we just have such a good relationship, and we have been like very good friends since we were like, well, she was like 14 or something like that.
Sure.
Maybe a little bit after that.
Yeah.
Once high school started, we started getting closer.
And when we were kids, we were close too.
Yeah.
When we were like little.
But like middle school, you know.
The only tough times were middle school because I was insane. I was the biggest brat I've ever been in my entire life, and I thought I was Massey Block from the Click Books, and I was absolutely not.
You were unwell.
I don't want to talk about that person. If you knew me then, I am so sorry.
Not to plug that family episode again, but I did talk about this exact same situation. Somebody sent in an audio message in that podcast episode and was like, basically saying the exact same thing, and was like, you know, I don't have that great of a relationship with my sister. I wish that we were closer. I don't know how to express to her that I wish we were closer, because it's a whole conversation. So again, that will be linked down below. But I would say for advice on that, like, you know, you should just try to have this kind of a sit down moment with them. Like, try to ask, hey, maybe this is like weird. I know we haven't hung out in a while, but like, would you want to go get ice cream or go get coffee, or you could go on a walk or something like that. And then while you're walking, just like kind of organically be like, you know, this is nice. Like, I would love to make an effort to hang out with you more. I really like when we do this. Just expressing that you enjoy their presence or would like to make more of an effort to continue that. I think that that's super important just for them to know, and know that you're actually actively uncomfortable with like being disconnected from them, and you do want more of a relationship, you know? Because while we have never personally experienced this together, I'm just trying to think of what I would do like if I lost you, you know?
Well, I feel like you shouldn't even think of it as me. You should think of it as like another sister. So I feel like that would just, we can't even picture that, because that would just not happen. I think what you gotta do is just, you gotta start slow. You gotta start hanging out, just doing those things. Just slowly start talking again, slowly start like getting a little bit deeper, if that's not weird. Reconnecting, because it seems like you had a relationship in the past and then you disconnected. So it's gonna take some time, you know? It's not gonna just go back to perfect and normal. I don't know what the situation was.
Exactly. We don't know what the situation was. If there was some kind of like, you were mean to them and you need to apologize, or there was a betrayal, like, you need to heal that. Spend a little time healing that situation.
Get deep.
Yeah. Just,
life's too short to have these strained relationships.
Put it on the table, you know? Heal it, heal the past, move on.
Because family is in your life forever, you know? So it's best to, if you can, to hopefully not have a strained relationship, if it's possible to not have one, you know?
This last question is from Sam Brown 884, and they ask, how to start a little garden if you have an apartment. Any suggestions / tips? And I would say Lindsey has, well, she has a townhouse with balconies, big windows, and she grows like little herbs in her windows. And I started
with cilantro.
That is like a huge step in the right direction.
Who knew?
Of just starting to grow in small pots in a little windowsill. You don't have to get crazy. You don't have to like build this whole indoor garden setup with like UV lights and like anything insane. You could literally just have a few potted plants in a nice window or on a nice balcony. Just remember to care for them correctly.
Maybe start small. You don't want to start with like 10 different ones, because then you're gonna be like, oh.
No,
you know, start with easy ones. One or two.
Cilantro. Maybe Miss Basil. We all love her work. And then maybe a little oregano. Oregano is very resilient in my experience.
Or if you don't even want to do herbs, you could just do some planters on the, did you say balcony?
She said in an apartment.
Okay. So by the brightest windows.
You have a bright window.
Start with some little flowers, some just little guys. Just, you could even look up on YouTube probably like what plants and herbs grow best,
Yeah.
you know, inside apartment, how to do an apartment garden. I'm sure you could find so much.
Dude,
on
I
YouTube.
will link resources down below. I also have a video on here, which I'm gonna link, about starting your own vegetable garden. And in that video, I was talking about apartment resources as well. So I'll just link that video on the screen. But I wish you the best of friggin' luck. Okay.
Start small. That's
Start
probably
small.
the biggest thing.
You don't have to get crazy.
Yeah.
This has been a long video. We're gonna wrap it up here. We're stuffed to the brim with pizza slices.
I could eat more,
currently.
but I did stop because we have to do a workout today.
She put the limit on the za. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please go and subscribe to my sister here on YouTube. Listen to her podcast. It's called Unfiltered. She is a true legend, icon. Love her work.
Oh my god.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and you missed Pizza Talks, please give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Ring the notifications bell if you'd like to be notified when I upload. You can become a patron of mine if you want to support my earnings for this month. Lindsey has a Patreon as well, which I will link down below. And until my next video, stay smiling. Woo! Bye, guys.
Put a song in
Okay.
at the end.
Always do. Always a song at the end.